On today 13 and 30 days, we talking about the Washington Wizards, and they just traded for Russell Westbrook. They swapped Russell Westbrook and John Wall. John Wall's heading to Houston, and they sent a 2023 protected first round pick to Houston as well. And now they got Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal inside of Washington. And do you think Washington won this trade? Like, did they get better with this trade?
I mean, I think this is one of the most this is an equal trade. I don't think anyone really won this trade, but if I had to give someone the edge, I'd probably give it to Washington because John Wall hasn't played in 2 years, and if I'm the Wizards, I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, John Wall hasn't played in 2 years, and we're getting a new taste, we're getting a new flavor to our team of Russell Westbrook. We're getting some more star power. He has a bigger name than John Wall. He's more athletic than John Wall. Although I think John Wall is the overall better player. Russell Westbrook is more of the superstar talent. But if I'm looking at this, I still think Houston got back a great player. I think John Wall, yes, he's been gone for 2 years, but I think he'll come back. I think he'll be great. I honestly do. He's a better passer than Westbrook. He has a better IQ than Westbrook. He has better defense, and he's a slightly better shooter than Westbrook. So if I'm Houston, I'm happy with what I got as well. I mean, Russell Westbrook, well, he was a mild content, really. He wasn't happy in Houston. And if I'm like, well, if he's not happy and he don't want to be here, and I get John Wall in return, and I get a first round pick, yeah, if John Wall comes back like about 90% of what he was, that's a great deal for Houston as well. So we cannot knock it out the window. But if I'm the Wizards, you got John Wall now. You got Bradley Beal. Yes, you got some guys. They resigned Davis Bertans. A lot of people don't really know about Davis Bertans. Like he's one of the best forwards in the NBA at this moment in time. Honestly, he's one of the best forwards. If you're talking a guy that can shoot the three. You're talking a guy that can play defense, and you're also talking about a guy that can back you down and get buckets. This guy is a walking bucket for Washington, and he can get rebounds as well. So he's gonna be great for them. So if I'm watching him, that's the kind of three-headed monster they're looking at. They're looking at Russell Westbrook, Davis Bertans, and Bradley Beal, and then they just drafted Danny Avdija, the guy from where is he from, Israel or something like that, with 9 overall pick. He was a projected top three prospect, and he fell to nine. A lot of people had him going to like four to the Bulls, and he ended up falling to nine. If you're the Wizards, you're happy with him. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to be a good player as well. Obviously, with the addition of Westbrook, his playing time. Well, not, I wouldn't say playing time, but his ability, take over the game because he's like a forward, but he can play point guard as well. But obviously, he's not gonna have the ball in his hand with Westbrook and Bradley Beal on that team right now. So, but if I'm the Wizards and I'm Houston, I'm both happy with this trade.
Yeah, they did. The Washington Wizards definitely won this trade. Like, I feel like they basically just added in Russell Westbrook to already a pretty solid team. But like, obviously they gave up the first round pick because John Wall hasn't been there in 2 years. But I feel like they basically stole Russell Westbrook from Houston because I don't think John Wall is gonna come back and be the guy he was. And obviously, both of them aren't like franchise. Well, they are franchise changing players. They're all stars, perennial all stars, but they're not like gonna lead a team to a championship type of guys. That upper tier type of guys. But the Washington Wizards, their main problem last season was was defense. And we saw it all through the season. Bradley Beal, he had back-to-back 50-point games, and they lost both. And they had, I think it was probably the second highest ranked offense inside the league, behind Dallas. And they could put up points. Like these brothers, they'll put up 120 points, 130, 140 points on you, but they giving up like 10 more points to the other team. And they couldn't stop anybody. And you can't you're not gonna go far in the playoffs like with that type of with that type of defense. And I feel like they have to address that. Like that's a really bad situation. Like you have to address the defense. You have to get the guys playing defense. And Adam Russell Westbrook, he plays hard, but he doesn't play defense. A lot of people think he does, but he doesn't. And they are going to be better, obviously, because they added in a MVP type of player. But their biggest problem is still going to be defense. And I feel like we have to listen out for Russell Westbrook into the MVP conversation. I feel like he's going to be one of the candidates, top three candidates in the MVP conversation. this season, I feel like he's gonna average another triple double, probably put up like 30 points on this team, something like that. And he's gonna lift this team into the playoffs, maybe 6-5 seed, possibly, depending like what they do. But I feel like Russell Westbrook, is gonna be a MVP candidate this season.
Well, I don't think Westbrook will be at the top of the MVP list. I still think you got guys like Kevin Durant, LeBron. You got guys Steph Curry. They're gonna be MVP favorites as well as guys like Kawhi Leonard. I also think Jason Tatum will be in that conversation. But if we're looking at the Pistons, I mean, if we're looking at the Wizards, well, where do you think they'll be? I don't think they're better than Brooklyn. I don't think they're better than Boston. I still don't think they're better than Miami. They're not better than Milwaukee. I don't even think they're better than the Toronto. So I'm talking that's already 5 teams that already have the 1 to 5 seed in the Eastern Conference. Then you still got Philly. Philly's going to be good as well. So that's like the 6th seed. So maybe Washington can get like what at best the 5th seed, 6th seed maybe. And if you're just not going to win an MVP as a 6th seed in the Eastern Conference, that's just not realistic. Yes, Russell Westbrook, he won the MVP as the 6th seed in the West. What was that? What 3 years ago? But that was because he averaged the first triple double since Oscar Robinson. What was that? It's like 40 years ago. He was the first one to average a triple double in the season. Of course, he's going to win that MVP. But then you see the next year, so he didn't win it, although he averaged triple double. So I think it will take an extraordinary season for him to win MVP. Because if you're going to have Kevin Durant coming back and the Nets are going to be a top 2 seed, he's going to be an MVP favorite. If Steph Curry finds a way to get those Golden State Warriors in the playoff, he's going to be MVP favorite. We know what LeBron James is. We know what Anthony Davis is. Kawhi, maybe he stops three balls or Clippers get a top 2 seed, he's gonna be MVP favorite. So I don't think you gotta be able to at least get a top 3 seed if you're gonna be an MVP favorite in this NBA. But I'm looking at this team. Scott Brooks, you got Russell Westbrook, you got Bradley Beal. It's time to start making excuses. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, Bradley, John Wall, he was out the past seasons. Yes, you were the 19th, but if you got Bradley Beal, you need to make the playoffs. You need to make the playoffs if you at least have Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is a superstar type player. You need to at least make the playoffs. So and if they get kicked out in the first round this year, maybe they lose in 5 games, I think he's going to be gone. Washington, they wanted to turn over a few years ago when they went after Masai Ujiri, and he said he's going to stay in Toronto. So they were looking for a new GM. I think they're going to be looking for a new coach as well. If Scott Brooks doesn't find a way to at least get his team to the second round. And the fact of the matter is, I don't really think they'll make it to the second round because I don't think they're one of the four top 4 best teams in the East. Now maybe they come out and they start balling. They play some defense. They balling. Maybe they can. I know they can grow to be one of the top 4 best teams in the East, but I think right now they aren't. And Washington, they're going to be marketing their big 3 as the Reese Bertans, John Wall, and Russell Westbrook. And to me, that's a great big 3. That's really a good big 3 if you want to say. So I think Scott Brooks, you got to find a way to get this team competing. They still have some guys. They still got Rui Hachimura, who they drafted. Well, I think they drafted him like 9th overall last year. I don't know why they keep getting the 9th overall pick. He didn't play really too great last season. So I think they're looking for him to have a breakout year. But I think Washington is going to be good. And I think, like you said, they got to play defense. The
Yeah.
reason why their offense was so good was because they wasn't playing defense. Well, if you're not playing defense, you're going to have a lot of energy to play offense. And that's why they were scoring so much points, because they didn't exert any energy on the defensive end. So I think if they start playing some defense, obviously their offense wouldn't be as good anymore.
Yeah, just I agree with you on that. Just a couple of things in terms of them like in the playoffs. Like we both could agree, like this is a scary first round matchup. Like obviously they aren't a threat to win it all, but just in terms of like what they could do to you, like what they're capable of. Bradley Beal, you got Russell Westbrook, you got Davis Bertans, like those guys aren't scrubs. Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook, they're superstars in this league, and those guys they could upset somebody in the first round. Like I wouldn't put it past them. Just in terms of like if we just stocking up duos inside the East, like they're in the top what 3-4 duos in the
They're a
East.
top 3 duo for sure. They're a top 3 duo.
So like just in terms of that, obviously stars win games, stars win playoff games, and just off of that, they're a scary first round matchup for anybody inside Eastern Conference. And they're playing with us money. There's really no expectations coming along with them. But I feel like
It's going to be something now with Russell Westbrook. It's definitely going to be something now with Russell Westbrook there.
yeah, I mean it's some, but like no one's gonna expect them to like get
If they
really
get kicked out in the
yeah.
first round, it's going to be a lot of noise coming out of Washington. Westbrook and Bradley Beal will be out there.
Yeah, yeah, and obviously they have some nice young pieces on this team. The guy Danny Avdija, like who they just drafted, I don't feel like he's gonna, obviously they just got Westbrook, so he's not gonna look, he's not gonna look too great. I don't know if he gets a lot of minutes, a lot of obviously he's more effective with the ball in his hand, and that's you got Russell Westbrook, so that's not really gonna happen. So I feel like that stints his growth a lot, and obviously Hacha Rui, he's gonna. I feel like he's gonna, his second year, his sophomore go around in the NBA, he's going to be better for them. And they got Davis Bertans. He's a walk-in bucket. So I feel like this team's going to be scary for anybody who matchups with them in the first round. If they get the right matchup, they might could, they probably could make it to the second round.
They're going to be scary, but my problem is not with the Wizards. I think the Wizards have a great team, but my problem is with Russell Westbrook. We already know what Russell Westbrook is. In order for Russell Westbrook to get those numbers, everyone else's numbers have to decrease. Everyone else has to adjust their game in order for Russell Westbrook to play. He don't know how to play team ball. His play style. He plays one-on-one. He doesn't know how to play in a team system. He don't know how to play in team offense. His offense is Russell Westbrook. So my thing is, everyone else is going to have to adjust instead of Westbrook being okay. Let me adjust. I'm ingratiating myself in this team. Let me be the one to adjust. We've seen time and time again, Russell Westbrook is not that type of player. He wants to turn everything over to himself, and I just don't think his play style is going to be winnable when it comes playoff time. I think he'll go back to his old stubborn habits. But I really think this is a great team. So if Scott Brooks can find a way to get Westbrook to break out those habits, trust me, this team, I don't think anyone wanted to face his team in the playoff, especially a team that got expectations like the Milwaukee's, like the Nets, like the Boston's. Y'all don't want to see this with this team in the first round if Scott Brooks finds a way to get Russell Westbrook, into some good playing style.
Yeah.